Man United domestically, and I know they got a good win against Newcastle, but domestically, outplayed by Brighton, outplayed by Crystal Palace, horsed by Tottenham Hotspur, have had to make all these changes going in here, have a player making his debut at left wing back, have a left back playing left centre back, have the right-sided centre back, or one of the centre backs, Twanzebe, who hasn't played for Manchester United in so long. I mean, there was so many changes in there, and at least Solskjaer had the guts to admit once again that Pogba is a liability in case of his discipline. You know, in terms of his discipline and his defensive duties, something that we've talked about with PSG, but at least we can tip our cap to him and say he realised that. He realised that he couldn't go in there and play Pogba from the start. And that's a slight in his reputation for one so athletic. But at least Ole Gunnar Solskjaer realised that what he had to do to go there and get a result. Thomas Tuchel, as the boys have said, just thought he could go out there with, you know, push it forward like any way you want, throw the full-backs forward, leave the two centre-backs on their own, and the rest will take care of itself. Well, quite clearly, it's just not going to happen for them like that.
Stevie, we've of course been quite critical of Solskjaer, especially after that thrashing at the hands of Spurs. How much does this give him some breathing room from that criticism? Or is it a case you go into the match against Chelsea this weekend, you lose and you're back to square one?
Yes, exactly. You're back to square one. Listen, this is absolutely perfect for Ole and the Manchester United squad and team. You know, to go again into Paris and expect to get hammered and then do what they're really, really good at. Let's be honest. If there's one thing Man United can do is they can bunker and then hit you on the break with pace. So it really was written. It was a script that was written for them. Did we expect it? No, because of how they're playing domestically. But it's not a huge shock. So, listen, if they can put another performance together against Chelsea, then maybe we can start giving Ole a bit of breathing room. But right now, it's just one performance. And so you can't expect to get a lot of breathing room through one performance.
Craig, just
but if you were Solskjaer, Dan, you'd be licking your chops having watched how Chelsea are still dropping points and losing goals. And, you know, you look at the pace of Rashford, and Stevie touched on it. He should have been more aggressive in the final third. You look at the pace of Martial and then the playmaking of Fernandes behind. There's no reason why, with the current state that Chelsea have started the season in, that they can't put at least get a result and put a string of results together. And this is a great result for them. But when you're the United manager, you're only 2 or 3 bad results or defeats away from being under the cosh again. So he knows that. But surely to God, this attacking performance again will give them a heck of a lot of confidence going into that big match at the weekend.
Craig, just explain how they can bunker down and defend. How can they defend so well today against PSG, yet look so frail against Spurs just 2 weeks ago?
Because when they go away from
Pogba's not playing.
What do you say?
Because Pogba's not playing.
No, because
Pogba's not playing.
And they did it to Man City a couple of times at least last year. Was when they go away from home or they play even at home against a Liverpool or a City, the defensive positioning is probably a good 10 yards deeper than it normally would be. And that's where they've got to utilise the pace up front. When they've played against some of the weaker teams, they've squeezed the game a little bit more, and they themselves have been caught in behind because they've expected at Old Trafford against Crystal Palace and the West Hams and all these teams like Newcastle they played at the weekend, they're expected to dominate possession, and therefore they're 10, 15, 20 yards further up the field. When they go to Paris or when they play a City or a Liverpool, they're closer to the edge of their own box, and so it's easier to defend in numbers than it is when you're attacking more and you're left a little bit more vulnerable. That's what happened to PSG, and that's why United, when they've played the better sides, not always, but a lot of times, have looked less vulnerable, and then they've utilised the pace of the front three. And it's actually worked out quite okay for them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.